Hello and a very warm welcome. I am Gushin Garland and you're watching Firstpost. In the next few minutes, I get you the top 50 updates from around the world, only here on Fast and Factual. Let's get started. First in, from the United States, President-elect Donald Trump has once again appealed to Supreme Court to block his sentencing in the hush money case on January 10th. This after a New York State appeals court dismissed his request earlier, ahead of his swearing ceremony on January 20th. The president-elect was convicted last year in May for falsifying business records to cover up a payment made to an adult film star. South of the United States, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum hit out at a U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Wednesday. She suggested that the United States should be called America Mexicana. She made the statement a day after Trump vowed to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Sheinbaum displays 17th century world map showing North America as America Mexicana. Staying in the South, Panama Canal's Authority leader Iriarte Vasquez Morales addressed Donald Trump's demand that U.S. ships passing through the Panama Canal must get preferential treatment. Morales said such preference would lead to chaos. He said rules are rules and there can't be any exceptions. Morales added such demands will violate the Neutrality Treaty and the international law. In Europe, Denmark has said it is ready to hold dialogue with the United States. This comes a day after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump refused to rule out military action to seize Greenland. Danish Foreign Minister said the country is willing to discuss how they could ensure fulfillment of America's ambitions. In the United States, outgoing President Joe Biden said he could have defeated President-elect Donald Trump if he would have stayed as the Democratic presidential nominee and not stepped aside. Biden revealed he quit the race due to his age. He said, and I quote, "wasn't looking to be president when I was 85 or 86 years old," end quote. The outgoing U.S. president was replaced by his deputy Kamala Harris, who lost to Republican Party leader Trump. The United States has warned that North Korea is significantly benefiting from its troops fighting alongside Russia against Ukraine. U.S. ambassadors to the UN said North Korea is gaining experience to wage a war against its neighbors. The U.S. envoy added that over 12,000 North Korean troops have been deployed in Russia and they began battling with Ukraine last month. In West Asia, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has called for Israeli military's withdrawal from Syria after it started striking Syrian military facilities following former President Bashar al-Assad's ouster. He made the statement during a meeting with Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani in Tehran. Pezeshkian also warned of the reactivation of terrorist cells in Syria. Israeli strikes killed 14 people in Gaza on Wednesday. 5 people were killed in an airstrike on a house in Gaza City. The latest strike comes as the US, Egypt and Qatar walk to negotiate a ceasefire deal. At least 3 people were killed on an Israeli strike on West Bank on Wednesday. 2 among the 3 people were killed were children. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry in Ramallah City condemned the deadly strike. It accused Israel of harming civilians under the pretext of eliminating terrorists. To the war in Europe, Ukraine's Western allies will meet President Volodymyr Zelensky at a U.S. base in Germany later in the day. It will be the last such meeting before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump takes office. The 25th talks at Ramstein Air Base will include representatives from some 50 countries. The United States is also set to announce a $500 million military aid package for Ukraine. The move aims to strengthen Ukraine's position before Trump takes office. The arms package will include advanced weaponry and ammunition to support Ukraine's defenses. Since February 2022, U.S. has supplied weapons worth $66.5 billion to Ukraine. A Russian strike killed at least 13 people in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia on Wednesday. 30 others also sustained injuries in the attack. Reacting to Moscow's strike, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called it cruel. He also alleged that Russia was deliberately targeting civilians. Zelensky appealed to the world to rally around Ukraine and against Russia to achieve lasting peace. A high-level meeting took place between the Afghan Taliban and India in Dubai on Wednesday. From India, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri attended the meeting, while from Afghanistan, the acting Foreign Minister of the Taliban government was present. Cricket cooperation between the two countries was also on the agenda. During the meeting, India also pledged humanitarian support to Afghanistan. At least 6 people died in a stampede that broke out at a temple in the Indian city of Tirupati. Over 30 people were also injured in the incident. The stampede occurred during a special religious event where tokens were being distributed for temple's access. Poor crowd management and unorganized distribution of tickets led to massive surge of people. South Korea's impeached leader Yoon Suk-yeol's lawyer has said Yoon will accept the verdict by the country's constitutional court. His lawyer said if the court decides to remove the suspended leader from office, they will agree to it. This comes after Yoon skipped questioning thrice over his decision to briefly impose martial law across the country. He currently faces charges of treason and insurrection. Armed assailants attacked Chad's presidential complex in the capital. Clashes broke out between security forces and the attackers, resulting in at least 19 deaths. The incident came several hours after Chad's president met Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. In climate news, we begin in the United States. Multiple wildfires are currently devastating the suburbs of Los Angeles. At least 5 people have lost their lives due to the disaster. Wildfires have prompted thousands of residents to evacuate after burning about 1,500 buildings. Efforts are underway to douse the fire, but fierce winds are hindering the operations. President Joe Biden also cancelled his upcoming trip to Italy over the situation. Ireland's County Carlow has been covered by a thick blanket of snow. Schools in some of the areas of the Carlow County remain shut for the 3rd consecutive day. Weather warnings for heavy snowfall have also been issued in the southeastern region. Ireland's weather office has predicted extreme cold waves to persist till today. In 2024, northern Norway experienced its hottest year ever recorded. According to the Norwegian Meteorological Institute, last year was also the 3rd wettest year since record began in 1901. The country saw an increase in temperature due to Arctic amplification phenomenon, a phenomenon in which rising temperatures melt sea ice, which in turn contributes to warming in the region. Freshwater animals at a high risk of extinction amid threats of increasing pollution, dams and water extraction. Climate change, according to a study published in the academic journal Nature, the freshwater that hosts over 10% of known species is currently at a significant stress. A new assessment with over 23,000 freshwater species revealed 24% overall were threatened with extinction. On to business and tech news now. ChatGPT maker Sam Altman has denied sexual abuse allegations by his sister. Altman's sister filed a lawsuit against him, saying the abuse occurred between 1997 and 2006. She is demanding $75,000 in damages. Altman said these allegations are untrue. Other family members have also sided with Altman, denying the claims made by his sister. Germany's flagship air carrier Lufthansa Group plans to hire 10,000 employees in 2025. The roles include flight attendants, ground staff, technical experts and pilots. Over half of the new hires will be based in Germany. The company aims to strengthen its operations and workforce. A union representing U.S. port workers have reached a settlement with employers. This to avert a potential strike by the dock works, which could have impacted the country's economy. The 6-year deal ensures job protection and allows for port modernization. Lockheed Martin successfully delivered at least 110 F-35 fighter jets, meeting their production targets in 2024. The jets were primarily brought by the US and its allies. The F-35 is the most advanced multi-role fighter jet in the world. China accused the European Union of imposing unfair trade and investment barriers after an investigation. The probe followed the EU's investigation into the Chinese subsidies affecting European competition. Beijing denied unfair practices and vowed to protect its companies' rights. China criticized the EU's foreign subsidies regulation for discriminating against its firms. Hyundai Motor Group has announced a record investment of $16.64 billion in South Korea in 2025. The investment represents a 19% increase from 2024. It includes $7.9 billion for research in electric cars, hydrogen-fueled products and new technologies. The EU General Court ordered the European Commission to pay damages for breaching its own data protection rules. A German citizen's personal data was transferred to the US without proper safeguards. The court awarded the citizen $412 in compensation. This marks the first time the European Commission has been fined for such a violation. Reports say Microsoft is planning to fire employees who are underperforming. The exact number of people who will be affected by the layoffs are still not known. These performance-based layoffs align with Microsoft's frequent workforce restructuring. It has adopted under CEO Satya Nadella. In 2023, around 10,000 workers were let go of across all verticals. iPhone maker Apple clarified it has never sold data it acquired using its voice assistant Siri or used it for marketing profiles. The clarification comes after settling a $95 million class action lawsuit. Plaintiffs alleged that Siri accidentally recorded private conversations. They also claimed these conversations were shared with third parties like advertisers. Google must face a mobile phone privacy class action lawsuit in federal court. The case alleges Google collected personal data from users after they turned off tracking. The judge overseeing the case rejected Google's argument that it told users about its data practices clearly and that no harm was caused. The lawsuit will now again go on trial on August 18th. Moving to sports, we start with cricket. New Zealand beat Sri Lanka by 113 runs in the second one-day international of the three-match series. Batting first, New Zealand posted 255 runs on the scoreboard. Rachan Ravichandra top-scored for New Zealand with 79 runs. In response, Sri Lanka were all out for 142 runs. Having won the first match of the series already, New Zealand have taken unbeatable 2-0 lead in the series. Reports say veteran anti-apartheid campaigner Peter Hain has called on South Africa to challenge the ban of women's cricket in Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. This comes amid extensive demands in the UK calling for the boycott of the England versus Afghanistan clash in the Champions Trophy, which is scheduled for next month. Pakistan is reportedly behind schedule on their preparations for the ICC Champions Trophy. Reports say construction work at least 3 host stadiums in Pakistan is running behind schedule. Pakistan's cricket board has denied these reports. The stadiums in Lahore, Karachi and Rawalpindi are scheduled to host the Pakistan leg of Champions Trophy next month. In football, Tottenham Hotspur beat Liverpool 1-0 in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Tottenham's winning moment came just before final whistle with Lucas Bergwijl's 86th minute goal. With this win, Tottenham took a massive step in making it to the Carabao Cup final. West Ham have sacked manager Julen Lopetegui after just 6 months in charge. The club also parted ways with Lopetegui's 5-member backroom staff. In a statement, West Ham said that the process of appointing a new manager is underway. According to reports, West Ham is set to sign Graham Potter as its next manager. In tennis, a fresh injury concern has put Nick Kyrgios's participation in the Australian Open in doubt. In an Instagram post, Kyrgios said he was diagnosed with grade 1 strain. The Australian said that he is doing everything he can to recover for the Australian Open. In badminton, Indian mixed doubles pair Tanisha Crasto and Dhruv Kapalia suffered a loss in Malaysia Open. The Indian pair lost out to a Chinese duo 13-21, 20-22 in a round of 16 match. Meanwhile, in women's doubles, India's Teresa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichan lost to a Chinese pair 21-15, 18-21, 19-21. The Indian pair suffered the close loss in a round of 16 match. With this at Malaysia Open, the Indian challenge in women's doubles format is over. In the men's singles, India's HS Pranoy lost a hard-fought round of 16 match against his Chinese opponent after losing the first game 8-21. The Indian made a comeback to win the second game 21-15, but in the third and last game, the 32-year-old suffered a 21-23 loss. The Belgian Grand Prix has secured a new Formula One contract. The deal will keep it on F1 calendar for 2026, 2027, 2029 and 2031. This comes as the F1 seeks new ways to accommodate new events in an already crowded calendar. And finally, moving to the world of showbiz, the announcement of the 2025 Oscar nominations has been delayed due to the Los Angeles wildfires. The nominations were originally scheduled for January 17th, but they will now be revealed on January 19th. The voting period has also been extended by 2 days, now concluding on January 14th. The raging wildfire has also triggered evacuation at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's mansion in Montecito. The $29 million mansion is in high fire risk area. The couple has been residing at the house since 2020. Wildfires continues to rage in Los Angeles have also halted production of multiple projects. This as the fire sweeps across the neighborhoods of Pacific Palisades, Altadena and Slayma. NBC Universal said the production of Hacks, Loot, Ted, Suits LA and The Happy Place has been suspended. The trailer for the third and final season of Harlem is out. The series, which ended season 2 with a pregnancy cliffhanger, will pick up from the third season right from where it left off. The show will premiere on Prime Video on January 23. Actor Vin Diesel had ended speculations over his feud with Dwayne Johnson. At the Golden Globes, Diesel was on stage to present an award. He paused to peer at Johnson and said hi to him. The gesture triggered speculations that a years-old beef between the two had reignited. Diesel later posted a picture of him with his Fast and Furious co-star with a caption that read, "All love always," to shut the rumors. Will Smith will reportedly not be part of Warner Bros.' new Matrix movie. Smith's cryptic post on social media had sparked speculations of him being part of a director Drew Goddard's film. His post read, and I quote, "In 1997, the Wachowskis offered Will Smith the role of Neo in The Matrix. Smith turned it down. He chose to Wild Wild West, believing it was a better fit for him at the time. But the question remains, what would The Matrix have been like with Will Smith as Neo?" Jacob Elordi is in talks to replace Paul Mescal in the thriller film The Dog Stars. Its director Ridley Scott and Mescal would likely drop out of the film due to the busy schedule. Meanwhile, Elordi is in early negotiations. The nominations for the 2025 Screen Actors Guild Awards are out. Universal's Broadway musical adaptation Wicked and Hulu's Shogun are leading the nominations race. Both have managed to fetch 5 nods each. The Directors Guild of America has also revealed its nominees. 5 filmmakers are in the race for prestigious DGA Award for Directorial Achievement. These include Jacques Audiard from Emilia Perez, Sean Baker for Anora, Edward Berger for Conclave, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. And finally, according to reports, Kelly Campbell is stepping down from her role as the president of Peacock. She will also quit her post as the direct-to-consumer at NBC Universal. She was appointed as the head of the streamer in 2021. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us. I am Gursheen Galan and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Stay informed and stay tuned to First Post.